I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about validation. What is it?
I don't know. Validation. It's got the word value in it somewhere.
Well, hopefully you know because you're going to be doing the
I'm going to be doing
video.
the presentation. I better know what validation is.
A lot of people ask about validation, what it is, what does it mean to validate somebody else. And so we're going to look at that and explore it and help you get a better understanding of it so you can figure out what's going on, because there is some information out there that's a little bit confusing or murky.
I think so.
And so we're going to try and clear that up for you a little bit. Margaret, what is validation?
Validation is saying to somebody, you're not crazy. Your emotions make sense.
Okay.
Okay?
Got
so
it.
you're not crazy, Craig. Your emotions make sense.
That's good to know.
I knew you'd be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I'm not crazy.
Sometimes people aren't quite sure. And there's a deeper component to validation that has a great deal to do with successful relationships. If you can validate your partner and your partner can validate you, then everybody's going to be feeling pretty good a lot of the time.
Okay.
What's the worst thing you can do? What's the most unvalidating thing you can do? Say Craig comes in and he says, I had a terrible day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Say it for me.
I had a terrible day.
You'll get over it. Was that helpful?
I think I feel better.
And stop complaining.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Okay. All right. But that's probably one of the most, if I were to be validating, I would say, oh, I'm sorry. What happened? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he got through telling me that his boss was mean and the system was stupid and so forth and so on, I would say to him, you're not crazy. Your feelings make perfect sense. I'd feel the same way if I had dealt with that all day today.
Yes.
Okay?
Now that would make me feel better.
That would make you feel better.
As opposed to if I said my boss didn't let us have a lunch break again today, and then you said, well, you should have expected it. Your boss never lets you have a lunch break on a Tuesday, so I don't know why you thought that you were going to have lunch.
And not only that, I told you to quit that job 3 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Have I been helpful?
Yeah.
No. Does poor Craig
No.
feel any better? No. So validation is to respond to what the other person is saying in an accepting way. All right?
Okay.
But we can get off track. So let me share with you this little article. And it says, think back to a time when you were feeling really understood by somebody. And if you stop and think, when was the last time I really, really felt understood by somebody? It might take you a few minutes, which is not a good thing. Validation is a very, very valuable thing, and an extremely valuable thing in a relationship. Validation in your relationship is extremely important. It means that when your partner tells you about their day or shares their feelings, you stay with them in the moment, honoring their experience. So you don't play with your phone, and you don't look in the other direction, and you give them your full and undivided attention. And oftentimes just that is a gift. Mm-hmm. All right? And you join their world and try to see what things have been like from their point of view. Mm-hmm. And you're going to accept their thoughts and feelings just as they are. You're not going to say, you shouldn't feel that way. That sounds like it's a bit of overreach to me.
Yeah.
I think you're exaggerating. You're blowing this out of proportion. That is totally invalidating. The person is upset.
Why do you think people do that in relationships?
I think sometimes it feels like a quick way to fix it. Okay? Mm-hmm. And nobody wants you to feel bad, and certainly nobody who cares about you wants you to feel bad. So they want to fix it for you quickly. And you don't want a solution. You just want to vent at the moment and share how you feel and share how bad it is.
Yeah.
After you get to do that, you might be interested in discussing solutions. But you're not at the moment.
Do you think it's a form of manipulation sometimes too, where it's like, they feel like, oh, you're not going to maybe necessarily do something for them that they expected you to do? Like, oh, I'm so tired from work. Oh, I suppose you don't think you're going to do the laundry tonight then because you're too tired from work?
Well, I'm sure people have done that.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have done that. But again, that's invalidating, and you're going to have to deal with having invalidated that person. And I suppose if you say, and when can you get to the laundry? Or will you have a different pain tomorrow? That's not going to help either.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are people who have done that.
Yeah.
And that is indeed a manipulation.
It seems like maybe some parents that, would try and be getting you to do what they want would be doing that to their kids.
Oh, sure. Oh, yes. Okay, I have a backache.
Yeah.
I have a headache.
Oh, you're not going to mow the lawn then, huh?
No. Oh, you're not going to mow the lawn then.
Yeah.
Well, and then what you would do is you would find out why the guy is in such a bad mood about mowing the lawn, and there might be a whole lot more to it.
Yeah.
And you'd work out a plan about when he could and what the reward would be. There would be ways to handle that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure grown-ups have done it too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't possibly do that. My arches fell yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
All right? But overall, it's a good idea in any relationship. But where we usually mess up is in trying to find a solution so we can make this person feel better. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's hard to hear what they're saying. It can be very disturbing to us as well. And we don't like having them upset either. Okay? But if you want to calm somebody down, just listen.
Just listen.
Right. It was delicately told to me by a professor in social work school, when in doubt, keep your mouth shut. I thought it was good advice. I've used it since.
Yeah. I feel like men get into trouble with this more than women do.
They do, because men want to fix it. And
Yeah.
men have been told for years that they have to fix things.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember a client saying to me not too long ago, oh, he said, so I get in trouble for being Mr. Fix-It. Yes. You need to be Mr. Listener before you're Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, okay, I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Listening will probably help fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, I have made a living listening.
Yeah.
It's a precious commodity. And sometimes people will say, nobody has given me their undivided attention for an hour that I can remember in my entire life.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Because there are many families that don't talk to each other. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to report.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
a way of showing that you understand and accept their thoughts and feelings just as they are. No judgment when somebody's venting. Just let them talk. And the idea is you're not crazy. I'd feel that way in the same situation.
Yes.
Research has shown that having these types of interactions with your partner helps your partner feel less upset and less vulnerable. Whereas invalidating behaviors do the opposite. They make your partner feel criticized, dismissed, or contempt from you.
Sure.
All right?
Yeah.
You'll get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have
Because
to
then
go.
they feel like everything they're experiencing, that it's wrong for feeling that way,
Exactly.
and that,
Yeah.
they shouldn't feel like that, and it implies that you're doing something wrong, or your experience is crazy in
It's
some
crazy.
way.
It's crazy. Yeah. And the very first line of this article that I didn't read is, what we want to hear is, you're not crazy. Anybody would
crazy.
feel like that under those circumstances. And people play all kinds of games with each other about that. And think about kids. Get over it. You have to go to school tomorrow. Just get over it before that.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend is mad at me and says she never wants to talk to me again. Get over it. You'll make new friends. Mm-hmm. How invalidating. What does that say to the kid? Mm-hmm. You don't have a right to be upset, and if you do, you certainly don't have a right to complain about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Relationships that are the most successful are those where both partners share their inner world with one another, their real thoughts, feelings, and desires, and where their partner, in turn, is able to really hear them. Okay? Mm-hmm. When you share a validating style of interacting together, you build trust and intimacy. These are the bonds that make relationships last.
Yeah.
And I read an article vaguely related to this by John Gottman, and I think we've mentioned John Gottman before. He's one of the most famous couples therapists on earth.
He's aight.
Yeah, and he's done some fantastic work. But he did a study one time, and he said that he can absolutely predict how long a marriage will last if he can figure out the percent of interactions that the people have of validating each other.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's,
Great work, John.
Great work, John.
We're validating him.
Yes, we're validating him. And our other friend, our friend from Canada, Dr. Susan Johnson, uses some of the same terms. And it says that couples will make a bid, to start a conversation.
That's right.
And share something.
To try and get your attention.
To make a bid.
Yeah.
And he said the most successful couples scored at about an 87% response rate. And he gives an example of you're on a vacation, you're in a hotel room somewhere, and there's a car outside, and the guy says to the woman, "Look at that gorgeous car outside. I don't even know what kind that is." And if she says, "Yes, dear," that's not terribly validating. But if she goes to the window and looks out the window with him and says, "Yeah, that really is gorgeous," then that's to respond to his experience, to agree with it, to validate him. And that's what he was looking for. He was looking for a contact.
Yeah.
So it's important to respond to bids. Okay?
Very important.
Yeah. And that's what helps people be vulnerable. If I know that you're going to take my feelings, even though I may think they're crazy, and how I see this seriously, I'm more likely to tell you than if I'm not sure that you're going to validate me or not.
Sure.
I will keep it to myself, and that's an invitation to intimacy that gets lost.
Sure.
All right?
I mean, if you come home and you're thinking, "Oh, I better not complain about my boss today because my wife is going to get aggravated," then you're not going to say anything. And then they say, "How's your day?" And you're going to be like, "It was fine." And then there's no real intimacy.
Right.
Because
you're
afraid
Yeah.
to give the bid,
So
to
you're
bid
not,
for their attention.
So you're not going to share.
That you were going to get rejected.
And then you're in trouble already.
And those small things add up big time.
I was thinking as I was doing this that I had a business manager one time when I ran an agency, and it was a disaster. We were broke, the IRS was after us, and all kinds of other things. And
but you took it over under that circumstance,
yes, I
right?
did. Yeah. And I asked it how
she didn't run it into the ground.
No, I didn't. And I asked it how its mother was, and then it was okay. No. But I was thinking the business manager was wonderful to work with under pressure, and we were both under terrible pressure. We never, ever had a cross word with each other, and this is over years of trying to straighten this mess out. And then when I really thought it, what made me think of her was that she was always validating. Yes, things are awful today, and yes, the buck stops with you, and if you're frazzled today, I don't think I blame you. Now, who wouldn't want to work with her?
Wow,
right?
yeah.
She was wonderful.
That is great.
But it just pinpointed it for me. That's what it was about her. And there are certain people you think of as being easy to talk to, and those are the people who validate you. Okay? It may seem like a simple idea, but it can be tricky to execute. Imagine your partner comes home and tells you they are furious because they find out they need to work over the holiday weekend. What is your first reaction? Many of us would feel protective of our spouse or upset at the situation.
Sure.
And have the natural urge to try to help fix the situation, where you might offer advice on how to solve the problem. While it intuitively feels helpful to give suggestions, this can feel invalidating to your partner.
Yeah.
Right?
Some spouses might get angry at you.
Absolutely.
And blame you for it.
Absolutely. Yes. While it intuitively feels helpful, okay, it's invalidating. Your partner may not be looking for help with a solution. They probably have already tried to find ways to solve the problem.
Sure.
And might feel even more frustrated in hearing advice, no matter how good your intention.
Sure.
So,
because it's probably a solution they've already thought of.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they didn't come in and say, I need you to help me figure this out. They came in and said, "What a day I had," or "I'm really upset."
Yeah.
So how do you effectively listen to and validate your partner? There are a few components to help guide your conversations. Number one, mindful listening is the first component of validation. This means you really pay attention to what your partner is saying. As difficult as it may be, suspend your own judgments and reactions to the situation or topic. Okay? Temporarily let go of the need to advise, change, help, or fix the situation.
Uh-huh.
Your own thoughts are put on the back burner. Boy, that's hard to do.
Yeah. Whatever you're distracted with. Because a lot of times your partner will come talk to you at a time where you're in the middle of doing something or you have something on your mind and then they want to deal with this other thing and you're like,
let me finish this so I can go sit with you and attend to you like you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Your own thoughts are put on the back burner. Your focus instead is on your partner's current experience. Show that you are listening by stopping what you were doing, closing the laptop, turning off the TV, for example, turning to face them, nodding your head, and making eye contact as they talk.
Yeah.
All right?
Turn off your phone.
Yeah.
Turn off your PlayStation. Put the game on pause.
And that's what I'm hearing from everybody, is that when they try to talk to their partner, oftentimes they won't put down the video game. So be aware of that. Video games and relationships are not a terrific mix.
Sure.
All right. Acknowledging and accepting is the next step in validation.
Okay.
This means you acknowledge what they've said or what they are feeling. You might say, I can see you're upset about this. Now that's rocket science, right? The person is tearing their hair out. You seem to be a little bit upset.
Yeah.
Or you seem discouraged in response to their news about having to work over the weekend.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to cheer your partner up, you allow them the space to be upset. And it's hard for us to let our loved ones be upset. We want to fix it right away.
Yeah.
Okay? Validating does not equal agreeing. An important distinction is that you can accept your partner's feelings, but you don't have to agree with them. And when I manage to turn this page, which seems to be difficult, I'll tell you the rest of the story. If they feel lonely, making them a cup of tea. If they feel jittery, or giving them space if they need time to think.
Yeah.
And people can come in from work, I know I've done it, saying, I need to sort out my thoughts before I even have a conversation. You don't want to talk to me before that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or I'm so angry, you need to give me a chance to calm down before I even tell you what happened today. In the end, it's about the way you interact together, much more so than what you do together. And it can make all the difference in your relationship. Yes, it can. And I thought it was a really nice article, written so that it was easy to understand. Yeah, and I think we've covered it. So it's hard to see a loved one upset, but remember that it's very important to sit with their feelings with them. And then you can get to trying to solve it later.
I think that it's important for you to understand that there are a lot of different people out there that explain validation in a different way, and I think they're probably meaning the term to mean something different.
Oh, good. Talk to us.
Right?
What does that mean?
Well, I think that there are a lot of people that explain validation in the sense that, like, if you give somebody approval, like maybe that you like them, that all of a sudden it gives them value and then they're no longer interested in you. Right?
That doesn't make sense off the bat to me.
Well,
okay, so if...
in other words, there seem to be some people that are saying, because I've had this come up in coachings, that if you say that you like somebody and you allow that person to know that you like them, that it validates who they are, they feel good, and they no longer want you.
Oh, I see. I get it. All right, so don't put your heart on your sleeve, particularly early in a relationship, because they don't think they have to work to get you anymore.
Exactly.
They think, okay, all right, I got him. Yeah. I can do what I want now.
And they're explaining that validation is that, when I think that probably needs some kind of other definition for it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's what we're explaining is actual validation.
Right.
And those others, whatever you want to call them, beliefs, maybe need another term that are explaining what this is true validation is about.
Okay, so if you let somebody know that you really like them, you validated them, and it was not a good idea because they'll get out of control now.
Exactly.
I'm going to control you now.
Yeah.
You said I was nice. Yeah. Okay.
Now you're going to run rampant. You're going to ruin my life. You're going to abandon me
and give me $50.
Yeah.
Before you go.
Exactly. You're going to take advantage of me and the
All right.
situation because
So
I
there
made you feel like
there
I care
are
about
people
you.
who would be leery of validating others because somehow you'd have less control.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But what I'm trying to say is
Uh-huh.
that definition that they mean it as, I would not consider that actual validation.
It's not
I
actual
think it needs its own separate term.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think it's got mixed in with actual validation.
Right. Now, were you taught the term validation in therapy school?
You know, it actually didn't come up very
It
much.
didn't in mine either.
No.
And what I was taught instead was reflecting. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody comes to you and they're all upset and so forth and so on, you listen to them. You don't say anything. You just listen.
Mm-hmm.
You look upset for them. In other words, you reflect back the feelings they're giving to you. And, you know, let the conversation play out. It's very much the same thing. But I'm glad you found the term validation, and I see from looking on the computer, it's often used.
Yeah. I think
especially by couples therapists.
I think reflecting now is now called mirroring.
Mirroring, yeah.
So it's like, you know, where and some of the videos I've talked about mirroring, validating, and empathizing.
Yeah.
Mirroring is more like talking about, it sounds like you're sad tonight.
Yes.
You know, maybe your husband comes home
Yeah.
and he's really upset, he's crying, and it looks like
But
you're
you're
really
going to
sad.
mirror back their facial expression or how they're presenting to you. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So maybe that
Yeah.
is a little different from
Yeah,
what...
the terminology can vary from decade to century to century. Yes.
But hopefully understanding, you know, the actual definition of validation and what it has to do with interacting with a partner will help you, because if you can even improve on this just somewhat in your relationship, it's going to make a big difference.
Makes a big difference. So be careful to respond to bids from your partner
Yes.
for an interaction.
When your partner is bidding for your attention,
Yeah.
you've got to be aware of how you respond.
Right.
Because if you don't care, if you dismiss them, if you saying that what they're saying
Invalidate
is
them,
not true, or they're crazy for feeling that way, they're not going to feel safe talking to you. They're not going to communicate with you.
Or another famous one is that if people are depressed and they tell a loved one they're depressed, and the loved one says, I don't know why you're depressed. You
Or-
don't have any reason to be depressed. Just get over it.
Yeah, or you're not depressed.
You're not depressed.
That's a big one.
Yeah, you're not depressed. Oh, really? I feel like the world is ending. I can't get out of bed and I don't like you. What do you mean I'm not depressed? Okay? And that's a common one.
Yeah.
If you just get up out of that bed or off of that couch and went out and did something, you'd feel better. But I'm so depressed I don't have the energy. Right?
Yeah.
You're just making that up. I've had people tell me depression doesn't exist.
Listen, there are a lot of people out there that believe a lot of crazy things.
Yeah,
Some
they
people
really
think
are.
World War II didn't exist.
That's true.
So, some people think the earth is flat.
Yeah. A good trip to the library would help.
So, you know, people
Yeah.
are going to believe whatever, Margaret.
All right. But anyway.
I think that was an excellent presentation, and you should validate Margaret
Yes.
by liking the video and putting a comment below and thanking her for this
Yes, please,
excellent info.
please validate me. It would make me feel so much better.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So hopefully this will help you guys, and of course, when you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching, I do Skype. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm available for Skype coaching, and I can get you in pretty quickly these days. So feel free to sign up with me.
That's right. Just click on Margaret on the top of the site, and it'll take you to sign up with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth,
I'm Coach Margaret.
and we will talk with you soon.